was.
Welcome back. Tonight, we're behind the counter, headset on, window cracked open to the dark. Drive-through workers see a lot of strange things. Strange hours breed strange customers. These 3 accounts, though, sat with me longer than most. You'll understand why. The silver sedan pulled up to my window a second time, but I had watched it leave 4 minutes earlier. Same dent above the rear wheel arch. Same cracked side mirror taped with electrical tape. Same driver, same face, same posture. I had not blinked. There was no way around the building fast enough. There is only one entrance lane. It was 1:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. The lot was empty except for a delivery truck parked at the far end with its hazards off. My coworker had gone to the stockroom 6 minutes before this car came back. I was alone at the window. The driver handed me a receipt, a printed receipt, for the order he had just placed. The timestamp on it read 1:31 a.m., which was correct, which was exactly when he had first pulled up. I had printed that receipt. I had handed it to him when he collected his food and pulled away. He should not have had it in his hand when he came back. I asked if there was a problem with the order. He said no. He said he just wanted to check something. His voice was flat, not aggressive, not nervous, but flat in a way that took effort to listen to because there was nothing in it to hold on to. I told him I remembered him. I said it without thinking because I wanted him to know someone had noticed. He looked at me for a moment longer than the question required. Then he said he knew. He said it the way someone confirms a fact they already verified, not the way someone responds to being told something new. I stepped back from the window, not far, enough that my shoulder touched the edge of the drive-through terminal. The drive-through window does not lock from the inside. The latch is on the outside, a sliding bolt installed backwards during a renovation 2 years ago that nobody corrected. I have mentioned it twice. Both times the report was closed without action. I picked up my headset and called Thru to the stockroom. My coworker did not answer. The line clicked twice and went quiet. Not dead. Quiet. There is a difference, and I felt it. The man in the car had not moved. His window was still down. His engine was still running. He was not looking at his phone. He was looking at the space just to the left of my face, which is where people look when they are watching something they do not want you to know they are watching. I walked toward the stockroom without running. I moved because standing still felt like a choice I was making for him. The stockroom door was closed but not latched. My coworker was inside. She was standing at the shelving unit with her back to me, restocking cups. She had not heard the intercom. She showed me her phone. The volume was all the way down. She had no reason to explain why. I told her what happened. I used short sentences. She came to the front with me. The car was gone. There were no headlights on the road in either direction. The lot camera covers the entrance lane and the window. My manager pulled the footage the next morning. The first visit was on it. Clear. 1:31 a.m. Silver sedan. Drive-through. Collect. Depart. The second visit was not on the footage at all. Not corrupted. Not missing. The timestamp runs from 1:43 a.m. to 1:52 a.m. without interruption. 9 unbroken minutes of an empty lane. The receipt he handed me through the window is in a sealed bag in my manager's office. The timestamp on it is 1:31 a.m. My fingerprints are on it. So are his. The lab confirmed 2 distinct sets. We have never identified the second. That next story moves from something unseen into something very much present, and much closer than it had any right to be. The car at my window had no driver, but someone had already pressed the call button from inside it. I was on the mid-shift, 4 p.m. to midnight, working the window alone while my coworker ran the fryer. The intercom crackled the way it does when someone leans into the speaker post outside. That low, pressurized hiss right before a voice comes through. No voice came. Just the hiss, held for about 6 seconds, and then the line dropped. I marked it as a ghost order and moved on. 30 seconds later, the car rolled forward to my window. A blue 4-door sedan, engine running, no one behind the wheel. I leaned out and looked back along the lane. Empty. I looked at the car again. The window was down on the driver's side. The seat was empty. The belt was unbuckled and swinging slightly, like someone had just stepped out in a hurry. I called back to my coworker. He came up front, looked out, and said the car must have rolled from the parking lot. I told him the lane has a slight uphill grade from the speaker post to my window. Cars do not roll uphill. He went back to the Friar. I stood there watching the sedan idle. Then the back door opened. Not all the way, about 8 inches, just enough. Nobody got out. I hit the intercom button to the manager's office. No answer. Our manager had left at 3:30 for a vendor meeting and the shift lead had called out sick. I was the highest-ranking person in the building, which at that moment meant I was the person responsible for deciding what to do. I decided to close my window and lock it. The latch on our service window is a simple lever, aluminum, and it clicks when it seats. I clicked it. Through the glass, I watched the back door of the sedan push open another few inches. A hand came around the door frame, not reaching for anything, just holding the edge of the door from behind. The hand stayed there. I backed away from the window toward the Friar station and told my coworker to call 911. He looked at me. I told him again, slower. He pulled out his phone. The hand on the door let go, and the back door swung fully open. The back seat was empty. I turned to check the hallway behind us, the one that leads to the side exit and the parking lot, because that door does not lock properly and everybody on staff knows it. The hallway was dark the way it always is. I walked to the end of it and reached for the push bar on the exit door. The bar was already depressed. The door was already being held open from the outside, just enough that the latch had not caught. Someone was holding it from the parking lot side, keeping it from closing without making any sound. My coworker came around the corner and asked if he should stay on with the 911 operator. I nodded. I did not take my eyes off the door. I let the bar go and stepped back. For a moment, the door held where it was, open about 2 inches, the parking lot light cutting a thin line across the floor. Then it swung slowly inward, pushed from outside. I moved back into the kitchen. Police arrived at 12:19 a.m. They checked the lot, the lane, and the perimeter. The sedan was gone. They found the side exit door propped open with a folded takeout bag, which means someone had planned to return to it. They did not find anyone. What I have thought about every shift since then is that my coworker was on the Friar the whole time, which means there was a window of about 4 minutes when I was standing at the service window with my back to that hallway and no one was watching the door. What you just heard had a figure you could see. This next one had something that never showed itself at all. And somehow that was worse. The drive-through camera showed a car at the speaker for 11 minutes, but the speaker had been unplugged since Monday for repairs. I was alone on the closing shift. It was 11:42 p.m. I know what a camera glitch looks like. I've worked here long enough to have seen frozen frames, timestamp errors, the usual. This was not that. The car in the feed was moving, not driving away, not pulling forward, just idling, the exhaust visible, the brake lights on. I pulled up the live feed on the back monitor and matched it against the timestamp. Real time. The car was there right now. I went to the window. The lane was empty. I went back to the monitor. The car was still at the speaker, brake lights still on. I could make out the shape of someone in the driver's seat, upright, facing forward. Not moving. I told myself the camera was pulling from a buffer. Old footage, looping somehow. I went to the system panel and checked. The feed was live. Confirmed live. The timestamp in the corner was updating every second. I tried the intercom anyway. The unit was disconnected, I knew that, but I pressed the button and held it. And the key felt wrong under my thumb, waxy and stiff the way plastic gets when nothing has touched it in days, resistant in a way that made pressing it feel like a mistake. I said we were closed. Nothing came back. But on the monitor, the figure in the driver's seat turned its head, slowly, toward the speaker box, like it had heard me through a system that had no power. I stepped back from the intercom. I want to be clear about the layout of this building. The drive-through lane wraps around the right side of the restaurant. The speaker is at the far end. The pickup window is directly to my left when I'm standing at the register. There is no angle from the speaker position where a driver could see into the building. The exterior wall has no windows on that side. None. The figure in the monitor was now facing the building, not the speaker. The building. Straight at the wall beside me. I picked up my phone to call my manager. No signal. That happens sometimes in the back of the restaurant, so I moved toward the front. Signal came back. I got through. I told him what I was seeing. He was quiet for a moment, and then said the camera system had been flagged by the security company twice that week for phantom readings. He said to lock the doors, finish the closing checklist, and ignore it. He said he'd look at the logs in the morning. I almost let that settle. I could feel the explanation fitting itself around the edges of what I'd seen, almost holding. Then I thought about the intercom button. I thought about the figure's head turning. I didn't mention the latch. I don't know exactly why. I just didn't say it out loud. I locked the front doors. I went back to the monitor. The car had pulled forward. It was now directly outside the pickup window. The window has a sliding panel. It was closed. I had not opened it. From where I stood, I could see the outside of the panel, the rubber seal, the latch. The latch was moving, not rattling, turning. The way it turns when someone outside grips the handle and applies slow, even pressure. I heard it. Not the horror movie sound you'd expect, just a small metallic tick, deliberate and quiet, and I realized my breath had gone completely shallow without my noticing. I did not move toward the window. It stopped. I finished what remained of the checklist from the front of the restaurant. My back to the pickup window side, tasks on that end left undone. I did not walk that corridor. I could not. I left through the front. The parking lot asphalt was cold through the thin soles of my work shoes, and the smell of fryer oil still on my clothes followed me out into the dark. I sat in my car for 20 minutes before I drove home. The latch had fresh scratches on the inside of the handle, not there the day before. The window side camera recorded nothing. Clean, empty lane. All night. The car was still on the monitor when I left. 3 workers, 3 shifts they probably wish they could forget. After the volume of these I've read, I'll admit the drive-thru is the one place I still order online. Think about that. Stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.